I'm with Gavin Macpherson after our 2-1 win over Tonbridge Angels, 4 points in 2 away games. And Gavin, at last you got a smile on your face. Was that relief or what?
I've just been told to put a smile on my face by the boys because I think I've looked a bit miserable on a few interviews recently. No, not so much relief. No, I'm not. It's not relieved. I'm not looking at it as you get the first one under your belt. I think we've deserved more from a lot of the games that we've actually played so far. That's the long and short of it. And I think tonight we've got what we deserved. It's hopefully it's turned a corner. Hopefully we now start turning what those draws are into wins. But the boys have had to work extremely hard against a team that works you very hard in respect of how they move the ball around the pitch. And we knew that. And we had a game plan and we came in with it, and I thought the boys were absolutely fantastic tonight. I thought they really were, and the supporters absolutely matched the lads on the pitch for their support again. And we thank them for coming, because we've given them a few crap moments, particularly generally after 90 minutes or so, somewhere around there. So tonight was a welcome one, not to do that again.
It doesn't mean very much the fact we've gone up to 19th, but it's a nice statement. I heard some clapping in the dressing room afterwards. Was that just because of the win, or was it the performance, or just about everything?
They should applaud themselves. They should applaud themselves, and it's a collective effort. The management team included, and George and everyone that the analysts and that, because when you get a result and you put a plan into action. There's a massive satisfaction about seeing it unfold on the pitch, and I think the result is one thing, but actually the way they've gone about it and the way that we've set it up tonight can only be applauded. So I think that's it. But they were shouting at me as I walked out to get a smile on my face, as I said. So I can allow myself a little one.
All home teams have pressure at some point. Slough did on Saturday. Were you a little bit worried at some stage that it might be a sense of deja vu in the latter stages of the game?
I think they opened us up. I think it was a lot of possession and a lot of balls into our final third. But I didn't think they necessarily opened us up at all. I think we looked pretty solid, and we have looked pretty solid, is the truth. Our defensive record is actually very good. You can take Torquay into that equation. So I wasn't necessarily worried. I'm trying to keep myself calm in those respects and let a few others lose their heads. And I felt that that Ollie Knight had a bit more muscle in his leg, a bit more pre-season under his belt, than he might have lifted that one over the keeper at the end. So it's a good performance. It's a tough place to come. It's on an unfamiliar surface. It's tough. They've been good here. So all in all, that's got to be a really fantastic result.
Yeah, they've got quick forwards, haven't they? I mean, what will this do for confidence going into Western-super-Mare at the weekend?
I don't think our confidence has been anywhere but up. That's the truth of it. Yeah, you'd expect it to really waver after when you look at the Slough equaliser and particularly in what minute it comes and what stage of the game. But no, the boys just get back on it. I think there's a belief here. I'm not making any big statements about us and saying that there generally has been a belief, and there's generally been a belief that we haven't got quite what we probably deserved in some of the games. So it's nice to be getting 3 points. The key now is that we have got an extremely tough game on Saturday, extremely tough, and we'll need to be back in on Thursday, sort of reprogram ourselves and go at it again, because teams like Western are seasoned teams at this level, do very, very well at this level usually. Scott's got a good work ethic over there, and we realise that's going to be a tough one.
And just lastly, Gavin, you always talk about momentum. 4 points from 2 away games, regardless of how the Slough game ended up. Is this the start perhaps of picking up a few more points than we have been?
Well, I think 4 points is a good return. I think if we looked at that before, but realistically, it probably should be 6. I've got to be honest. I accept that Slough had chances, but we had some real chances to wrap that one up on Saturday. So I will look at it as maybe 2 points dropped slightly, in a slight way. But I think if you'd have offered me before we started these 2 games and 4 points from 2 tough away games, you'd have taken it. And both on 3G, which is not familiar to us, we'd have taken it 100%.
I think the fans would agree. Onwards and upwards for Saturday. Thank you very much, Gavin.
Cheers.